What's up guys, it's Dedadon here, and today I am back in Star Citizen where I am welcoming you aboard the bridge of the Aquila, which is a exploration variant of the Constellation class civilian freighters, built by RSI or Roberts Space Industries. So obviously this is the bridge. I'm sitting in the captain's seat at the moment. I'm just looking around a bit. These screens, by the way, are only temporary. The ones we saw in the planetside demo looked a lot nicer, and I can't wait till they get rid of these chunky, ugly looking blocks. But yeah, so you see, the main difference between the Aquila and the other Constellation ships is rather than the pointed nose, it has this nice rounded bridge. Although the problem I have with it is that bit in the middle there, if you look towards the bottom of the screen, there's a plate. That is where the lights and sensors are mounted on the outside, but on the inside they mean that the Aquila has worse visibility than the other ships do downwards, which seems a little strange for a civilian ship that is supposed to be about exploration. But let's give a quick look at the outside, so hitting insert. So this is the outside of the ship. There's the rounded bridge that makes it different. You can see our guy sitting there in the seat with his usual glare. I'll give a look around the interior later. But you can see there's those lights and the sensors underneath. There's the boarding ramp that you get in. You've got some sort of VTOL fans. Not sure how they're going to work outside of atmospheres or on planets that don't have, dense enough atmospheres for the VTOL fans to work, but who knows. Moving on, you've got these turrets. Well, this top here is a sensor, where there is a top turret on the Andromeda. We'll go there later. You've got the turret in the bottom here. Then as we move back, you've got, as you can see, airlocks on the side there. You've got the cargo bucket. You've got the big engines with some sort of sensors on them. I don't know what those bulbs are. You've got more over here. You can see more sensors stripped on the top. Bring it along around. Duck in under here. There's the engines, more VTOL fans, and there at the back is the Merlin, which is an escort fighter, or snub fighter rather, that this ship comes with. And the devs seem to indicate that we will actually be getting the Aquila with the snub fighter, even though initially the plan said it wasn't. And this ship also comes with a rover, but the rover itself hasn't actually been modelled yet, so we don't have anything to put inside the cargo bay just yet. But yeah, so if we look from the top, you can see the general layout of the ships, and I reckon they're quite nice. They're big without being too big. Now, a lot of these are probably going to get melted right about now for people trying to buy the Karak exploration ship, which is supposed to be dedicated for it. However, I kind of prefer this one because, well, it's about half the size, and we at least know that this one can do lots of other roles. But anyway, let's switch back inside, and let's get out of the seat and have a look around the interior. So you can see here, these are the ramps that actually lead in and out. Well, not ramps, the chairs that lead in and out to the turrets. You've got this one that goes down, and then you've got one up there that when you press it down, it'll go up. So let's say if we want to hit this button, if I can find the marker point. Oh, there we go, we had it. Where to go? Let's try and get it back. No, I'm not finding it again. So, oh, there. See, always. Did I hit it? No. There we go. But see, you hit that, and then we'll get in it. So he gets into his chair, sits down. Now, if this was the actual Andromeda, which is the combat ship, you would have a turret sitting on the top here. But as this is an explorer, what you have instead are these sensors and a nice little observation bubble to, look around at the top of the ship or whatever. So that's quite nice. And if we just switch, not into there, you can see what's happened is these have lifted up and folded away, and then the sensors have raised up in front of us. Now, we don't know exactly how these are going to perform yet, but there's something I'm sure we will learn. But anyway, let's get out of that. So watch them fold away. He gets ready to go down as those shut, and then we'll move back through the rest of the ship. So wait for him to get out, and here we go. Now that's one of the other things you may notice is this ship is a very shiny. I'm not sure why it's so shiny, but hopefully that's something they change. And then we'll move into this central area. Now this is the biggest problem I have with this ship, is that this area is basically identical to what the Andromeda has, and it doesn't really feel homely. Like, to give another example, there is a ship called the Redeemer, which is a gunship, a military gunship. Its interior feels a lot more homely and, you know, sort of comfortable than this, which is supposed to be a civilian freighter. So why do we have all this empty space? I know they've said we're supposed to be getting an expansion station, but at the moment this doesn't feel very nice. Like, yes, you've got this sort of like table here, if I can trigger it without, you know, crushing myself, because that's a problem with these things. Where is that point? I can't find it today. I'm not very good today, am I? Oh, we had it. Maybe it's on there instead. Oh, there we go. Yep, get out the way. See, we've got this, which is like a table and some sort of chairs, but that's pretty much it. We haven't got anything else. Like, oh, I'm in there. But like, basically all this space at the moment is pretty much wasted. And you see, you know, to take messages from something like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, you can have like a couch here with a TV or relaxation area. Basically something for the crew to do, because you're not going to be flying at those crew seats all the time. So yeah, that's just one concern of mine, but we'll move on. That is the way in and out, so you can see it's just basically an airlock. Then if we move back here, you've got the toilet and the shower. So this side, yep, you've got the toilet, which you can of course use. And if we open this up, you've got the shower, which is an interesting shower. The mirror doesn't work, but I don't care. And then here you've got the beds, which also double as escape pods. So you can see, for example, that opens up with a bed that looks like it's water, which, yeah, this ship's got leaking problems. And then we can open that one up, and you can see they fold out. But yeah, so these basically will serve as escape pods. If you look at them, you can kind of see the engines in there, so that in case of emergencies and that you need to evacuate the ship, you just kind of get into those. And I can't find the point for that, but that doesn't matter. I kind of already shown you what it looks like with those two. So let's move back through the ship. So we open this up, and we are in the cargo bay. Now, because this isn't the Taurus version that is a dedicated full freighter, this one's bay is slightly smaller than the others. It's about, at the time of recording this, 1,100 freight units. But that's not too bad. You've got some kind of fuel tanks in the roof there, which is supposed to give this ship longer range than the standard ones. You can't actually use these ladders at the moment. You can go down there, but you can't get back up. That bucket does open though, and you can put stuff in there like the rover I do have. So we'll move along here. You've got all sorts of cabinets for something, not sure what they are. Whoop, I've fallen in. Whoops. So I can't actually get back up there now, can I? Nope, I can't get up there, so I can get out though. So, whoop. Yeah, the camera seems to like to shake if you try to turn it while you're moving on this, so there we go, that's down. But actually, whilst we're down here, I'll give a tour of the Merlin, because it's right here. Now this is a clamp that's holding it. Its wings are supposed to fold in, not stick out like that. But as you can see by looking at that, this model of the Merlin is very old and not actually the final. It's just a stand-in for what the final ship will look like. But you can see you basically climb down that tube there and you get in it. And it's just got chemical engines. It's only supposed to be a defense ship. It's got chemical engines, so it's not got very good range. But that's okay, really, so that's where it is. But let's, you know, run around. Let's get back inside it so I can show off the bit that I was trying to when I fell off. And we'll leave the cargo ramp open because why not? So let's go up. Oh, the door didn't open, so we smashed our head on it, but that's fine. Let's spin back through here. Let's go this side this time. But yeah, you got airlocks of some sort there. You got all these storage hatches for something. And then if we move back here, we've got more, I don't know what these are. Maybe they're wardrobes, I'm not sure. This ship is supposed to have science equipment, so I'd imagine that's where the science equipment is supposed to be, because it isn't. But yeah, so moving back here, and we open this up. This is the final area, so you've got all your power plant equipment. So you've got like this warning sign here, which is about, you know, accidental loss of air pressure. Then you've got, you know, more info here. So this is all your batteries or whatever. I forget what they are exactly. And then this is, of course, the hatch to get down into the Merlin itself. But you can't actually go in there at the moment, so that's, you know, well, what can you do? Let's move back here. But yeah, so well, that's one of the problems I have with this ship design, is whilst I like it, it doesn't really seem to have, like, you know, the stuff it should be having in it at the moment. Like, given especially this is such a big open area, that, you know, how do you get there in case there's a loss of cabin pressure, like, you know, somebody shoots a hole in your hull, this whole thing will have to be depressurized, and you will have to depressurize, you know, the living quarters to get back here, because there's no airlock between the two. That sounds a little strange. There is supposedly the airlock in that boarding ramp, but that's about it. And then the other problem I have is this ramp here. You can see it's lowered. There's not a lot of room to get cargo in and out of it at either end. It's actually clipping through the floor at the moment, but let's ignore that. But yeah, so once you've got that in, basically up to this floor level where I'm standing is all you can put cargo in. Because you've got all this empty space on top here that you can't put anything in. And there's no interior crane, so unless you're really good with a forklift, there's going to be some limitations on what you can do with that space. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I think of that, but anyway, let's keep moving forward. Move back here, and we'll just run back to the bridge for a second. And yeah, so that is the Aquila. Whoop, it is a exploration variant of the Constellation, like I said. And I expect a lot of these to be melted as time goes at the moment. But until then, I'm Denadon, this is Star Citizen, safe landings.